This week at Lowe's, you'll get great savings during our outdoor entertaining event. Get a smoking hot deal on a Char Griller Super Pro Charcoal Grill, now for just $99. That's a $30 savings. And if you're inviting people over for that backyard barbecue, make sure your landscape looks in tip-top shape with premium mulch. Now 5 bags are just $10. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid 6/21 through 6/28 while supplies last. U.S. only. Mulch color and selection vary by location. Offer not valid in Alaska or Hawaii.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. We are back live on the air this week. I am here with my co-host, PK, all the way from sweltering Tucson. I'm in the Berkshires where it's nice and cool.
Rub it in.
PK, my God, how are you doing?
Surviving, darling, surviving.
Oh,
It's been
God
something
bless you.
to... These color crayons are melting all over the street, put it that way.
Gee, well, you look beautiful, calm, cool, and collected.
It's
and
a
we
fake,
have,
but it's okay.
Yeah, hey, you do it really well. You have the good persona here for everybody to see. So we've got a great guest tonight. We're going to be bringing her on in a little while. Nicki Scully. She's got a fabulous new book. It is called Sekhmet. It is a beautiful book, Transformation in the Belly of the Goddess. And we're going to be doing some really unusual things tonight. Well, Nicki is. And we're going to learn from the master tonight. So I cannot wait. And I know you're excited. We read the book. We love the book. We recommend
Excellent
the book.
Excellent book.
It is great. So here we go. Now, first and foremost, we have to start, because we missed last week, with the numbers. What's going on?
Well, firstly, it's the 7 universal month, has deceit, deception, inability to sleep, all kinds of trickster type things ongoing right now. Nobody's really sure of what they feel like or what's going on around them. But with the new moon coming up on Friday, and it's going to be in Cancer, which means it's all about the motherly side of things. And the nice part about it is it's going to give us a foundation about the home life, putting things together. And remember, our moon side reflects so much about the mother side of us. And when we take a look at our own chart, we'll find out a little bit more about our mothers and how they tended to us going through it. But the moon in Cancer, all ideas about home, tranquility, transformation of things, it's going to be good. In the 7 universal year that we're in, gives us opportunity to think, plan, and open the doors for what's coming up next. How's that sound?
Well, that is a tall order. I'll tell you what. That sounds exciting and intimidating all at the same time. What about, do you think it's going to be as tumultuous as the last month has been?
It's going to stay that way probably up until the first week of July, and I'm afraid after that there might be a lot more shake, rattle, and roll of things we haven't wanted to see yet. There's something more coming, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, too, because I had a dream last night, and the dream said there is trouble in heaven.
Yes.
And I've never had a dream like that before, but that's what they told me, and whoever told me this, it was actually an angel, Castiel, who said this in the dream, and it was chaos. It was chaos in heaven. It's like, what is up with that? Chaos in heaven.
What's going on down here, it's almost every other day there's some type of a major event in some city in Europe and things happening here, but nothing is normal. Whatever normal is supposed to be, no one has an idea of anymore.
You're right. You're right. And look at all the paranormal news that's been coming in. All of the UFO sightings. I mean, these are at an all-time high all across the world. We have sighting after sighting report coming in. We have that floating city showed up again.
Yeah, I saw that.
In China.
That is incredible. Now, both of them have been in China the 2 times that they have seen the floating city, which makes you wonder. And since China seems to have more pressure to place on the world at large, it's only fair they have 2 cities going.
Yeah, really. And you wonder, I mean, what in the world? Is that a hologram? Did people actually live in the city? I mean, you're going to find, now our audience knows, you can go to our Facebook page. We've posted it there. There's a video. There's a whole article about it. Go take a look at our Facebook page. Give us a like. Follow us there, and you'll be able to catch up on all the news. We have also the crickets. Was that the coolest thing? Oh, my gosh.
That is incredible. Incredible.
Now, somebody, what they did, just so you know, but again, it's on our Facebook page, somebody listened to the crickets, recorded this, slowed it down, and oh, my God, sounds like a choir of angels.
Doesn't it, though?
It is beautiful. Absolutely
Who would have ever thought of doing things of that nature in slow-mo? Absolutely incredible.
I would never have thought of that. Somebody much more creative than me. And it is an incredible thing to listen to. So go to our Facebook page, listen to that. We've got all kinds of other stories, more Mothman sightings in the Chicago area. That has not gone away. You know, we talked about it with Michelle Piper, the psychic medium that was here with us a couple weeks ago. And they're still reporting more and more sightings of Mothman. So something's up there.
And also, I think something to pay attention to is with the Cancer moon, the need to be mothered and smothered, shall we say, that there are going to be some things that are going to be brought out that are a necessity to pull the family together, because what's coming up in July and August, I think, is going to put more of a strain on our families than it has for a long time.
Wow.
Particularly on the male side.
Okay.
Just something to pay attention to.
Yes, so all of us women, we are going to have to, I think we're going to have to be in charge. That's all there is to it.
We are in charge. We just forgot it.
Yes, you're right.
In the year 2000, it started to become the time of the woman, and it's not going to start until we all accept the fact that, yes, we can do this.
Yay. Yes, we are going to do this. We are doing it.
And pitchfork and let's go for it.
Really, we need to. So everybody, make sure that you sign up for the Fringe Files, which is on supernaturalgirls with Z.com. And we're going to be restarting our newsletter next week. And we'll have lots of new things in it for you to enjoy. So, and also, if you've got a story to tell, if you've had your own interaction with ghosts or aliens or cryptids, maybe Dogman, feel free to write to us. We'll be happy to tell your story on the air.
Definitely.
So, yes.
And
yes,
also, if I may interject also, that every day on patriciakirkman.com, I do a segment about what the day represents, the universal day, what it's all about. It's very brief, but it gives you a heads up of what's happening with the universe, and our own personal stuff will intertwine with that. And the twining is going to be very interesting to hear from our lovely guests.
That's right. Perfect lead-in. Perfect. Okay, everybody. Well, fasten your seatbelts. This is going to be quite a ride tonight. We have with us Nicki Scully. She is an accomplished author, and I'm just going to read the back of this book because it really says it well. She is a healer and teacher of shamanism and the Egyptian mysteries. Nicki's been doing this since 1983. She's written a ton of books, and they're all good. Her many books include Alchemical Healing, Shamanic Mysteries of Egypt, the Anubis Oracle, and the Union of Isis and Thoth. She is the founder of Shamanic Journeys Limited, which specializes in spiritual tours to sacred sites in Egypt. She teaches at conferences and festivals throughout the world. She lives with her wonderful husband, Mark Hallert, in Eugene, Oregon, and where she also offers retreats, private sessions, and teleseminars. And she's with us tonight. Nicki, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Patricia. PK.
Well, we're happy to have you tonight. That's for sure.
Very happy to have you. Now, first and foremost, please tell us what drew you into the Egyptian mysteries.
Okay. In 1979, my husband was still part of the management team. He was the first manager of the Grateful Dead.
No kidding.
I'll be darned.
And in 1978, we went to Egypt. And that was a pivotal moment in my life. Absolutely the most magical experience I ever had. We did 3 nights of concerts under the full moon with a total eclipse. And I was so enchanted with Egypt that I was back 3 weeks later because nobody had time to shop. It was before Christmas. So I came back to, put together a real quick store for everybody so they could get all the stuff they didn't get to get when they were working in Egypt. And my other agenda was that I wanted to know what was behind the synchronicities, one after another, for 2 weeks of just pure magic. And so I went 4 times in the next year, culminating the following September when I took one of my daughters and some friends took their daughters and we rented a boat and sailed the Nile. And that's when I committed to becoming a healer, even though I didn't really know what it meant at that time. And so then it wasn't long before I knew I had to leave the Bay Area and the Grateful Dead scene, which was my family, and I moved to Oregon in January of 1981, found a Reiki master 2 months later, which opened the door, gave me permission, and then found another teacher that taught Huna, the Egyptian mysteries, and the Western magical tradition. And it was she that introduced me to my main teacher, Thoth. Here's a picture of Thoth. Here he's with Isis. This is from the cover of my last book, The Union of Isis and Thoth. And he's the god of wisdom, language, communications, healing, science. He's the scribe of the gods, and he's a lunar god, a god of the moon. And once he became my teacher, he kind of became the architect of my life. And I just so feel for people who are searching. Like, I spent so many years searching for who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? And as soon as I got hooked up with Thoth, I found my real family, the Egyptian pantheon, the Neteru. And it's been so much easier because all that guidance was so direct. And all I had to do was say yes and show up. And
you took a big risk, though. That was a big risk you took.
It was in the beginning, but it proved itself so quickly that once you make these relationships and realize how trustworthy they are, then it's a joyride.
How was your husband's reaction to your major change from where you were to where you are now?
Well, I left that husband when I came north.
Okay.
Things had gotten pretty crazy in the Grateful Dead scene in those years, and I literally went off in search of tools to see if I could make it better. Mm-hmm. And I found tools that make the world better, and I'm really happy for my decision. It was really hard on my children to yank them out of that scene. And,
right.
Major changes, for sure.
It was a big change, and that was kind of rough. But I'm so glad I did it. I've been in the same place now since 1981, and I've turned it into a paradise, and where we do retreats, and it's a consecrated Egyptian temple. And I've taught 20 years of the Egyptian mysteries here and written 8 books. And, it was hard in a scene like the Grateful Dead particularly for a woman, to have a life.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
you're at the center of this maelstrom, and that's very much about that and the music. And it was the best joyride in history, bar none. I'm grateful for every moment of it. I learned so much, and I discovered life after dead.
Well put, my dear, well put.
Yes, very well put. Excellent, Nikki. Well, this is wonderful to get to learn a little bit more about you personally. And we're so glad you're on the show. As we discussed off the air before we went live, Egyptian mysteries are near and dear to our hearts, both BK and mine. But understanding them is a whole other thing. I mean, being fascinated by it is one thing, and feeling, oh, this is just so incredible. But understanding it, this is why we need you and your books, because it's a mystery. We can't seem to decode it like you can.
It's a mystery, and it's not meant to be understood. It's meant to be experienced. And each question that you take into the mysteries leads to more questions. So you're informed by your direct experience, and that just deepens the mystery. Mm-hmm. And so now, most people don't think of Egypt as a shamanic culture. They think of it as this high civilization that lasted for these thousands of years. And all that's true, but it's a nature religion, and it's not that different from Native American, which is the only other one that I'm really trained in, although because I'm not Native, I don't teach it, but it's kind of the basis. I mean, when I was with the Grateful Dead, our teacher was Rolling Thunder, our spiritual teacher, and so I became steeped in that world. However, the word for the deities, for the gods and goddesses of Egypt, is Neteru. And the singular is Neter and feminine Netert. The Coptic Christian word is Necher. The English word is nature. It's a nature religion. And once people realize that all those beings with the animal bodies and the human heads, or the animal heads on human bodies, and the various plants, their God is in everything. I see it as a monotheistic culture with one God that is beyond our ability to comprehend, because we're certainly not wired for it. However, the principles express themselves through the myriad of deities, which is all around us in nature.
And it's so fascinating because as you're talking, is it in your area we're hearing the crows?
Probably. I have a lot of crows.
Yeah, they were talking while you were talking. It was very, very loud, so beautifully.
Well, let me know if anything from outside.
No, it's part of the show. You know,
no,
I think
it's fine. It's fine.
And it's part of the communication here. Again, exactly what you're talking about. The lessons are in nature. I do have a question for you before we go too much further into this, Nikki. It's from Reagan in our chat rooms asking, did you feel any spiritual connection with your Reiki teacher before you committed to the teachings? I'd like to know how to give up that level of trust in someone.
Okay, so I have to be quick with this story because there's so much I want to cover. But I'd only been in Eugene 2 months, and I heard a woman was coming down from Canada to teach Reiki. And she was one of Takata's direct students. And I went to her Reiki class because I had made this commitment, and it seemed like, that's what was there for me to begin with. Her name was Bethel Fag, and back then it took 4 evenings to get the initiations, and by the 3rd evening I said to her, look, I'm not getting it. Everybody else is feeling it. Everybody else has these stories. You know, please give me the last attunement, and then I'll get back to you. So she gave me the last attunement. The next day I went up north to Portland, and I was into entheogens. And so I wanted to check out this guy. And we took our medicine, and it became apparent really quickly that we didn't have anything going between us. So I was looking around for something to do, and I said, you know, I was told that I have this healing power now called Reiki. And he looks at me like I'm crazy. And I said, come on, you've abused your life so much. Let me do something. How about your liver? He said, okay, my liver. I put my hands over his liver, on his body, and it was like being plugged into a wall socket.
Wow.
The energy was so strong that his dogs came from, he had a big house. They came from upstairs in a whole other part of the house to cuddle up to him to get some of that energy. And I realized, whoa, this is real. So I got on the phone. I called her. I said, please don't leave town. I'll be back tomorrow. I want the second degree. And I came back. She gave me the symbols and said, you're on your own, and left and went back to Canada. And I practiced with them. I went to a Grateful Dead show the following weekend and started hooking people up with the symbols and understanding, and had this incredible, miraculous healing that gave me an indication of the possibilities of it. So I was really excited. And then I met Phyllis Furamoto, and we discovered we had some things in common and became really good friends. She's Takata's granddaughter. And when it came time to commit to a $10,000, transmission to become a Reiki master, she said, look, Nikki, I would love to have you part of this, but your life has been one shamanic initiation after another. You need to explore shamanism before you commit to this. And in that process, I met my next teacher, who turned me on to Thoth, my dear teacher Thoth. And once, it took me a year before I paid attention to him, and it's only because one of my students says, hey, there's this big bird behind you that's going to eat the soul of anybody that tries to hurt you. You better pay attention to him. And as soon as I did, my own teaching started coming in, and they've been coming in ever since. And
so it sounds like your message to Reagan would be to trust, again, your own instincts. But let's face it, in your life, you've had a lot of grace. You've showed up at the right place at the right time. So you met these wonderful people. Mm-hmm. We all do. Reagan, that's the message. You have grace too.
It's just a matter of how present can you be in every moment. The true key to life is presence. The attention is what you pay. Attention is the coin of the realms.
Nikki,
so, yes?
Does the Ankh fit in any aspect of this?
Sure.
For you?
The Ankh is the key of life. They would. I have illustration of it right here, so that you know what she's talking about. Okay.
Right. It's in the book, which is great.
That's the Ankh, the key of life.
Right.
And the gods would hold it up to the pharaoh's nose, and he would breathe in eternal life.
That was the part I was getting at. Did that affect how you looked at things did you use the Ankh yourself?
Not for a long time.
Okay.
I wasn't ready. I had to, after those first 4 trips, I had to go back and study for 10 years. And then I showed up with a group. By then, I'd made relationships with several of the deities, and was just getting to know Sekhmet. And they laid out a feast of knowledge and experience. And so all my trips to Egypt are shamanic journeys. They're all alchemical processes. And later, I've done more than 60 of them myself. And toward the end, I started going with scientists or with other teachers, people like Bruce Lipton and Joan Borisenko, and it was sort of the hippie and the scientist converging. And
how wonderful.
We had a blast because they could articulate, and I mean, you know how brilliant Bruce Lipton is, and Joan, and they can articulate. She had a story for everything I did from some culture that was absolutely right on, and he had the ability to shine a scientific light and quote the stories that substantiate everything that I do.
Incredible.
And so it made it so fun because I'm learning the science that underpins all of this shamanism. And I mean, it's only a mystery until you understand it. Then it becomes science, and you go to the next mystery. But for me, the greatest mystery is Sekhmet.
Yes.
And the reason is because everybody who went with me to Egypt, we always would ask them in the beginning, why are you here? What is your intention? And they all had their answers. But at the end, they all had the same answer. It was because she called them. And when we got to her sanctuary in Karnak, and we would have everything privately because that's how I do things, we can't mix our energies with the tourists. And so they would get her sanctuary privately and go in one at a time and stand in front of her and receive initiation from her directly. And that was it. They knew that she had called them. And the reason that she is calling them is because she is the guardian of Maat. Now, Maat is both a concept and a goddess. She stands for truth with a capital T, justice, balance, harmony, and cosmic law. In times of chaos, such as you spoke of, PK, and such as we're in right now, it is Sekhmet who comes onto the planet to straighten things out, to bring it back to balance. And so the purpose of transformation in the belly of the goddess is so that the people who read it and commit to doing the work that is the process, the singular process that is the entire book, you become a warrior for Ma'at. You become a guardian. Well, first of all, you prepare by putting all the things in yourself that you need to change. You knot them into twine. Mm-hmm. And you make these little knots for each thing that you want to change, for each lesson that you've received, and your gratitude and your prayers. They all go into these knots, and it stretches out, and then you start putting them over themselves, and they build up until by the time I'm done with this process, I'll have this huge ball of twine. I'll take it to her, and I might think I'm offering her the twine, but the twine is a tool to get you to bring it into your consciousness. And then she has some other tricks to help you with the things that you forget. And she devours you. She literally eats you.
So you transform from that experience where you are consciously working with your own memories, with your own upsets in life, your own disappointments, your own gratitudes also. You bring all of that to Sekhmet, and then she devours you, and changes everything.
And so you are in her belly, observing the process of every transformation. And the reconstruction, once you are reduced to your essence and you pass through that eye of the needle where everything is different and everything is the same, but you know you can never go back. And then you're rebuilt, but it's a conscious co-creation.
Very different than just abandoning the past. Very different. Now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Nicki Scully is going to introduce us all personally to the great Sekhmet. So stay tuned, everybody. We're going to take a short break. You are listening to Supernatural Girls Radio. We'll be right back.
Listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network, Chicago, Illinois.
You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
Do you want more out of life? CreativeStrength.us can help you turn your dreams into a reality. Do you suffer from common health issues or stress? Are you sick of living day after day in pain and anxiety? Have you tried traditional methods but see no results? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then the 15-day Scalar Energy Healing free trial is perfect for you. When you sign up for the Scalar Energy free trial, you'll get 3 free treatments: a pathogenic cleanse, nutrient therapy, and chakra balance for every day of the 15-day trial. Go to CreativeStrength.us to learn more about this free trial and sign up. There is no credit card required, only your willingness to improve.
Lowe's has you covered for all those projects on your summer to-do list and will even help you save. Update your old flooring with stylish new ceramic tile starting at just 49 cents and give your home a whole new look inside and out with $10 to $40 off paint, exterior stains, and resurfacers via rebate. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Paint offer valid 6/21 through 6/28. Exclusions apply. Tile offer valid 6/21 through 7/5. Price based per square foot or per piece based on market. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Your life. Anyone, anywhere in the world can register for this free trial of Scalar Energy treatments. Healing energy is all around us, and now CreativeStrength.us has a way to help you harness it to improve your daily life. Only a picture of yourself is needed to be treated with Scalar Energy. Simply email your photo and enjoy the Scalar Energy treatments. You can experience the miraculous, life-changing powers of Scalar Energy Healing from the comfort of your own home. Visit CreativeStrength.us. Change your life for the better, effortlessly. Go to CreativeStrength.us today.
Hi, can you hear my voice? Imagine how many other people can hear it too. If you have advertising needs, then look no further. The Inception Radio Network currently has openings for on-air advertisements and radio show sponsorships. Given any thought to your target demographic? Inception has you covered there too. Advertising on a network gives you multiple opportunities to advertise on a wide variety of radio show broadcasts, and we have one to fit every advertising need. You know, in recent years, internet radio has exhibited a phenomenal listener growth. An Arbitron Edison survey shows that online radio boosts at least 33 million unique visitors each week and 54 million each month. And that number amazingly continues to grow. And these listeners are a part of many businesses' core demographics. And surveys have shown that internet radio listeners are far more likely than regular radio listeners to spend money on a whole range of activities. You know, internet listeners vote, they dine out and eat fast food, and they grab a cup of coffee. And here's the interesting one. They buy items online at a much higher rate than all other market segments combined. Internet radio also enables businesses to connect with consumers during work hours, where increasingly more lifestyle decisions are being made. Advertise with the best. The Inception Radio Network offers competitive advertising rates to fit just about anyone's advertising budget. Stop by today at www.inceptionradionetwork.com or call us toll-free at 1-888-919-2355. Get the word out. Get results with the Inception Radio Network.
Are you a fan of Inception Radio Network? Do you reckon it's the best alternative talk radio station on the planet? Well, if you do, head to facebook.com/Inception Radio Network and like the page. Tell your friends, spread the word, and keep listening to the best.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception Radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I'm here with my co-host in Tucson, where it's 117 degrees. PK, he's toughing it out over there. And our magnificent guest, our terrific guest tonight is Nicki Scully, who's the author of a new book on Sekhmet. And we are going to be personally introduced to Sekhmet this evening. We are so grateful, Nicki, for what you're about to share with us. So we are all yours. We are waiting for this introduction.
Well, first I want to tell you a little bit about her. Her name, Sekhmet, means power or might. And the Sekhem is that universal life force, the kundalini that she generates. Her family, her consort is Ptah, the creator god, a great creator god. And their son is Nefertum, the lotus-born, the fragrance of life. They're from the north, which is Lower Egypt, and their capital city was Memphis, where we visit her and where this statue that this painting was done from is in Karnak, which is in Upper Egypt. So it was initially dedicated to the goddess Hathor, the goddess of love, who is the cow goddess of the night sky, intoxication, sensuality, joy, love, considered one of the oldest, maybe even as old as Thoth. And she's like the flip side of Sekhmet. And in their myth, the last time, or when the myth was written, it was a time very much like this when people disrespected each other in the earth. And Ra sent his daughter the feminine face of the sun to go and deal with the upstart humans. And she got down there and was so floored by what she saw and experienced that she just started killing them right and left, a slaughter. And they, Ra was afraid that she was going to kill them all, and so he called on Thoth, and Thoth said, have your priests and priestesses make 7,000 vats of barley beer, pour them and puddle them around her, spike it with certain things, including pomegranate, to make it look like blood, and she'll drink it up, and then she'll, according to the myth, become intoxicated and won't be able to kill anymore. Well, there's some question about what they spiked it with. I'd say there was definitely mandrake root and blue lotus and very possibly mushrooms, because it was verdant at that time. It was green. And I think she just got high and saw love, and she couldn't kill them anymore and walked away. And then Thoth had to go and coax her back. But, so it's sort of like the medicine that came for us in the 60s to stop that crazy war. And so now she's back because things are just as crazy as they've ever been, except that the whole world is on a precipice. And so she's calling her people and saying, you do this with me, and I will devour you. I will consume you. I will transform all your issues if you prepare them honestly, truthfully, and meticulously in your twine. And then together we will rebuild you so that you can take on the challenges of this world at this time. So to meet her, everything in my work with alchemical healing and all my Egyptian mysteries work starts with the heart. So we're going to do a heart breath, and we're going to skip the journey and go straight to her, where she's going to give you a direct transmission from those golden sunshine eyes.
Tremendous. We can't wait. So everybody, we're going to start this now, and it'll go over the next 10 minutes or so, and you'll actually have an introduction and a personal meeting with Sekhmet.
And I can't be silent because we're on air, but just ignore me. I'll just keep telling you what to notice.
Okay.
But just have your own experience, whatever it is, because that's what counts. So I'm told that this is a very smart audience, so I'm going to teach you how to do a very complicated breath in a very short time. The idea is that you focus on your heart and you find the eternal flame that lives within the sanctuary of your heart center. And as you bring that flame into focus, that spark of your soul's eternal fire, feed it with love. Love is the fuel. And begin to observe as your flame gets brighter and more intense. And then, and this is the complicated part, you want to use your breath like bellows. So at the same time as you're reaching with your breath and your intention into the heart of the earth and inhaling all of that fiery core energy and life force, the elements, the minerals, the gemstones, the roots, the trees, the plants. You're inhaling all that power up to your heart at the same time as you're drawing down the intelligence of the universe, all the celestial bodies and beings in all places and in all dimensions that are supporting, that are trying to help us get through this in a positive way. And all that intelligence and the intelligence of the field in which we're all suspended. So when you inhale from earth and sky simultaneously, You draw it to your heart. It mixes with the love while you hold your breath. And when you exhale, you'll feel every cell and molecule of your body awaken. And then you inhale again. And you mix it with your love. And as it passes through your whole body in every direction, everything comes to attention. It's like, what's happening here? And you begin to remember, and you do it again. And meanwhile, each time your fire gets bigger, and this time as you exhale, your fire connects with the fire of the person closest to you on this show, regardless when they listen to it. And the next breath, it goes, and all of our heart fires are connected. And so there's this huge glow emanating from the planet, from the hearts of all the people that are listening to this show. And it's so bright, it acts like a signal. And all the beings throughout the universe that want to help us begin to come in and gather around the circle of light. And so this is the time for you to invoke your guides, your angels, your totems, your plant medicines, and fill, as that circle is surrounded by these beings. So we are the as below, and they are the as above. And as above, so below. When we come together, we have the exponential power of our numbers. So once you've greeted those that you know and acknowledge those that you don't, look into that light. And at the center of that light, there'll be a tiny dot. And as you continue to focus, the dot grows and expands until you begin to see this goddess with that light radiating from the center of her being. And I'm going to bring it in closer. So connect with your heart and with your eyes, heart to heart and eye to eye. And as you see the sunshine come pouring out of her eyes, she reaches up and you feel a paw or a hand on your chest. And suddenly the surge of her Sekhmet, her power, her energy is awakened in you. You've always had it. You're just now, your cells are remembering. Your DNA is lighting up. Now, gaze into her eyes. Doesn't matter if your eyes are open or closed. And as you feel that power circulating through your bloodstream and your circulatory system, she begins to speak to you through direct transmission from her eyes. Receive whatever message she gives to you at this time. And because you're such an intelligent audience, you can receive her message at the same time as that light coming from her eyes begins to move through your body. It goes into your brain, connects to your nervous system and your endocrine system, and starts moving around looking for those weak places that need healing. And as you feel the light touching those places, she'll pause, let her know where your pain is so that she can go there and allow you to experience the incredible healing power of this amazing goddess, Sekhmet, the quintessential healing goddess of Egypt. For some of you, she may turn into a lioness and take you on a journey to show you something that you need to see. For others, she may continue to do healing work or initiate you in some way. It's individual to each person. So just allow yourself to have your experience of this wondrous goddess, Sekhmet. And I can't stay quiet, so I'll just remind you and her to focus on those places where you need help, whether they're physical, mental, soul, emotional. And she wants you to know that all you ever have to do to call her is breathe a few heart breaths and offer one to her, and she will be accessible to you. And if she's calling you, pay attention. You may have some wonderful, magical, and quite serious and profound work to do. So now, allow yourself to back away. And then she's just going to devolve back into that light that's connecting us all through our heart breath. And you can begin to ground and center yourselves. Noticing the differences in the places in your body that have been touched and healed. Take all the time you need to complete your experience. I don't want to rush you, but everybody has a different time schedule, and we are on air and have ours.
That was just so lovely and so powerful. You know, one of the things that really surprised me about Sekhmet's energy is how fluid it is, and immense, just absolutely immense.
It's a good word.
PK, are you back with us?
I'm here.
Okay.
How was it for you, PK?
It was almost like you were drifting in and out of space. Very profound feelings at times. Very interesting.
Were either of you able to receive any specific messages or healing from her?
Yes. There were a couple of specific messages that I heard from her. And again, I love communicating with entities like Sekhmet, but her way of communicating is so different than what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. So it was very, it was great. And I'm sure a lot of what I just got in this experience will take some time to digest and to settle in. But this energy of Sekhmet is just, wow. I mean, I can see why people have, people commit to going on these journeys with you to Egypt and to have this kind of a personal experience right there in the motherland. I mean, it's got to be even that much stronger than what we had a taste of tonight. So, and I know you're going to be leading 2 groups next year, which is tremendous. I mean, I would advise people, if they're interested, to sign up, because
I do it early. Yes.
Yeah.
Do it early.
Actually, I have a back injury, and so I'm taking some time off but the people that I've trained that are doing it are well trained, and they know their stuff. And so the last couple of years, they've been doing it, and they've been doing a great job. And I don't know how long that window is going to be open, politics being what they are. So if you're called, I would go sooner rather than waiting, because things aren't going to get any better over there for a while.
Now, Nicki, what is your website? Tell people where to go so that they can get more information and sign up for that or other things with you.
You can always find me through Nicki Scully, but my website's name is actually Shamanic Journeys with an EYS.com. And then I have a web store, HathorsMirror.com. But you can get there from Shamanic Journeys. And I've got some special websites for almost all of my books as well, also available through Shamanic Journeys.
Excellent. So this is a powerful energy. And here's a question that I have. These goddesses and gods, Sekhmet, lion head, human-looking body, do you feel that there's more than mythology here, that Sekhmet really does and did exist in a physical form of a lion head and a physical human body?
I doubt that she existed in a physical form with a lion head and a human body. I think that is more a way of transmitting the power that she carries as an entity, be it a goddess or perhaps in an incarnation at some point. But what's happening is they're in our DNA. So when we awaken in Sekhmet in us, and when we become devoured by her, all of her courage, her passion, her commitment, her love becomes part of us. It's already part of us. It just wakes up in us. And her healing power.
Yes. But she communicates in a wide vector. I mean, what really surprised me is it wasn't like a laser focus. It was more like a wide vector of information and taking us in as well as giving a message back. I mean, it was very unusual form of communication.
And it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is.
You know, I mean, look at your chat and see if anybody's, maybe somebody said something. Because it's so unique to each indivial.
Right. Well, it's tailor-made. How much better can it get than that? I mean, that's tremendous. I really feel like we made a connection here tonight. I'm very interested to hear from our listeners, even after the show. Let us know. And if you want to write in a question or a comment, go to irnchat.com. That's irnchat.com. And tell us your experience with Sekhmet tonight. And, oh, my goodness, very powerful. Very powerful. I can see a lot of what you're talking about and why you wrote this book. This is a very important book to bring people to awareness about Sekhmet.
And to bring Sekhmet into the world in a way where she doesn't have to slaughter people, where she can heal with love.
Good idea.
And where we can, stop this insanity. I mean, we have to stop this insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the more of us out there doing this work and allowing ourselves this power and allowing ourselves this healing and this transformation, the more we'll be able to find solutions to our problems in a peaceful, harmonious way and come back into balance. I mean, we're heading for a fall. And I don't think there's any avoiding it.
No.
However,
there's so much anger. But isn't that one of the messages of Sekhmet, is how to transform your anger
And mitigating the anger, transforming the rage. That's how she started with me. She started doing this work with me in 1997, and it started with rage. And that's all we worked on for the first few years was rage. And then all the other pieces started coming in. And then when I actually said, okay, I'll do the book and I'll do it now, then it was just one after another. And they don't come through me. They come through my students. They come through mostly my students and my husband, who is a fabulous visionary. I mean, our work is published in Planetary Healing, Spirit Medicine for Global Transformation, and that's just our work.
Amazing.
But this book, they all write their stories, too.
Yes,
so
they do.
You get their sharings in there. But everybody who participates brings in work.
Well, we're going to have to take another very short commercial break, everybody. We've got more questions in the chat room that are coming out. Feel free to write to us at irnchat.com. We will ask your questions to Nicki on your behalf. So stay tuned, everybody. Short break. We'll be right back.
Listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Just a reminder that Inception Radio Network is on Twitter. Follow us at I_R_N and keep up to date about who's on tonight, what interviews they'll be doing, who's guest spotting, what topics they'll be covering. Tweet to us, tweet about us, retweet topics to your friends, and most importantly, never miss a great show again. That's I_R_N.
Have a computer? Is your internet connection down? Don't worry. Use your trusty cell phone or landline and call into our listen line at 401-283-6700 to listen to the Inception Radio Network 24/7. Again, that call-in number is 401-283-6700. For the Inception Radio Network, I am MJ.
Do you want more out of life? CreativeStrength.us can help you turn your dreams into a reality. Do you suffer from common health issues or stress? Are you sick of living day after day in pain?
Lowe's has you covered for all those projects on your summer to-do list and will even help you save. Update your old flooring with stylish new ceramic tile starting at just 49 cents. And give your home a whole new look inside and out with $10 to $40 off paint, exterior stains, and resurfacers via rebate. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Paint offer valid 6/21 through 6/28. Exclusions apply. Tile offer valid 6/21 through 7/5. Price based per square foot or per piece based on market. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Pain and anxiety. Have you tried traditional methods but see no results? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then the 15-day Scalar Energy Healing free trial is perfect for you. When you sign up for the Scalar Energy free trial, you'll get 3 free treatments: a pathogenic cleanse, nutrient therapy, and chakra balance for every day of the 15-day trial. Go to CreativeStrength.us to learn more about this free trial and sign up. There is no credit card required, only your willingness to improve your life. Anyone, anywhere in the world can register for this free trial of Scalar Energy treatments. Healing energy is all around us, and now CreativeStrength.us has a way to help you harness it to improve your daily life. Only a picture of yourself is needed to be treated with Scalar Energy. Simply email your photo and enjoy the Scalar Energy treatments. You can experience the miraculous, life-changing powers of Scalar Energy Healing from the comfort of your own home. Visit CreativeStrength.us. Change your life for the better, effortlessly. Go to creativestrength.us today.
Hello, Inception Radio Network. Would you like your favorite show to be played again live on air? Well, now the choice is in your hands with IRN's live request portal, an easy way to request your favorite show with a simple click. IRN's live request portal now gives you exclusive access to all the shows. How easy is it? Simply type a show name or a guest name, click request, even write a dedication message, and that's it. Try it now. Simply visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com, click on the live request tab under the show menu. Now playing your favorite show is just a mouse click away.
Are you a fan of Inception Radio Network? Do you reckon it's the best alternative talk radio station on the planet? Well, if you do, head to facebook.com/Inception Radio Network and like the page. Tell your friends, spread the word, and keep listening to the best.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With cosmic fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.KOSMICfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, here with my co-host from Tucson, where it's 117 degrees. PK. She's
I'm just a
handling it.
slip of my former self.
Yeah.
It's a sauna diet.
Slipping away here in the steamy Southwest. And our wonderful guest tonight, Nicki Scully, who is the author of a new book on Sekhmet. And we were just personally introduced to Sekhmet. If you missed it, you're going to have to listen to it in our archives or in our podcast. It was an amazing journey, an amazing experience with Nicki. And Nicki, we've got a couple questions in the chat room for you. I'm going to throw them out at you. This is from Daria. Daria says, hi, where can I see Sekhmet on my next trip to Egypt? I have traveled many times and would love to put this meditation technique into practice while there.
Well, you can certainly see her at the Cairo Museum. You can see her at Medinet Habu. The chapel where this statue stands is at Karnak. But you have to ask for it special, and, you know, sometimes they let you in, sometimes they don't. We always get in because you can get in. Just tell them you want to go see Sekhmet, and it might cost you a little bit, but they'll let you in. And then you can also see her at the Met in New York, at the Louvre in Paris, at Turin in Italy. You can see her at the British Museum. You can see her in Chicago, I think. Yeah, she's all over the place. Statues of her.
That's great. Okay, Daria, you're all set now. And then here's another question. This is from Starlight, who wants to know, are there any passages in the Book of the Dead that make light of recent or current global events?
To me, the best interpretation of the Book of the Dead is called Awakening Osiris. It was translated by Norman D. Ellis, with whom I have had the privilege of not only writing The Union of Isis and Thoth, but teaching an Egyptian mystery school for 2 decades. And she has the heart of a poet and a priestess and a magician and a shaman, but she also reads. She spent 10 years translating that book. And that book is timeless. That book is the essence of Egypt. If I were marooned on an island and could only have one book, it would be Awakening Osiris, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, translated by Norman D. Ellis.
Sounds like a great book to have in your library.
And it sheds light on, I wish I had a copy right here. I would just open it like bibliomancy and read you from it. And it's just beautiful if it's interpreted right. Otherwise, it's kind of different.
Yes. Okay. So there you go, Starlight. There's the answer to your question. And
from my opinion.
Yes. Now, there is just so much to cover here. We talked about reordering the brain, that this is something that happens sometimes in the work with Sekhmet. So there is a communication within the brain that sounds like it starts to change in a wonderful way. You have the right and left hemispheres that line up and start communicating over the Rainbow Bridge. What happens with Sekhmet and the brain?
Actually, there's a couple things that happen. The first thing that happens is after you're devoured, all the twine, all the knots that you've tied are kind of separated into what's going to become muscle, what's going to become brain tissue, what's going to become DNA, what's going to become waste product, what's going to become yours, what's going to become hers. And you get to observe that process. The DNA work is actually done before the brain work. And in the DNA work, you get to witness as much of the mystery of how DNA repair happens as you can. Now, this work was validated for me by Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is an epigenetic scientist and cell biologist. And he is much more able to explain the intricacies. So I recommend his books, particularly The Biology of Belief. And he has a new peer review article in a journal just out on the new evolution, epigenetic evolution, which is programmed mutation. Because the reason for this book is we don't have time for the slow process of evolution as it usually happens. I discovered this when I had cancer. You know, my mantra was mutate or die. And then Bruce and I had this conversation, and he said, you know, mutation is a random thing. You really have to be sure that you're working with programmed mutation, where you are in charge of where that mutation goes, or else you just get what you get. That's why your own consciousness is so important when you commit to doing the work of this book. Because when those changes are happening in your DNA and the old stuff you don't need falls out and the new stuff comes in, you want to be right there making sure that your thoughts are as uplifting and as, you know, aiming for those smart genes as possible.
Right. Now, I have another question that just came in. via text, and they want to know, is there a particular crystal that you could recommend to work with in communicating with Sekhmet?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is fire opal, because she's a fiery goddess. But, so cornelian is another one the Egyptians used, because, and it's red. Cinnabar, any of the red stones. I think, what am I seeing now? I can't remember what you call it. Let's see if I have one that I can get my hands on that's the color of sunshine. But I can't think of what it's called.
Citrine topaz?
Citrine.
Citrine topaz.
Citrine topaz, it's not the one I was thinking of, but that'll work. But one of the things
with it?
Sure. I use with you don't need anything when you work with Sekhmet. However, there is a time when you meet her husband where he gives you an ankh, and in the circle of the ankh there is a lens that's like a magnifying lens, and so you can use it to see more details of what you're working with as those changes are occurring. But the way I teach with alchemical healing, whether it's a plant or a crystal, you work with the spirit, you work directly with the intelligence. Therefore, you don't need to do any mining, you don't need to do any harvesting. You just need to make a relationship with the intelligence of the spirit of the plant or the crystal. And what a relief when I could stop carrying around those bagfuls of crystals that I used to hold with me.
I know what you mean with that. When you were talking about making the knots and keeping the twine, how do you use two pieces to make the knot, or do you just automatically make a knot with the one piece? Show us how you make the knots.
So here's the knots. So I go about a half an inch, and I think about, I'm much better at being critical, but I still say judgmental things. I really want to change that about myself. And so I'm going to make this knot for that particular characteristic that I want to work on. And I put it inside, and then I finish it off at about a half an inch.
I can't see what you're doing, sweetheart.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. And I close it right there, and there's the knot. And after I've got a long line of them, well, then I'll just wrap them around and knot them into each other. But yeah,
just hold it up to your camera so that we can see it.
Oh, the camera. I'm keep going to the wrong place. Okay, now I'm in front of the camera. So I put the little ball in here. Now I'm just doing a knot of gratitudes for the lessons I've learned, because I realize how much I've already changed on that particular one, and I want to send gratitude. And so there's that knot.
Okay.
And then I want to pray for other people who, right now I'm suddenly finding myself in Syria and thinking of all those children, and here goes a knot for them, the orphans, and so on.
Nice. So you can use the twine not just for your own clearing, but
were you
for
able
others.
to see it? Yeah.
Yes, perfectly. Yes. Thank you.
And for others, it comes in the form of prayers. So there's your knots for your own difficulties and characteristics that you want to change, or illnesses. They're the knots for gratitude, and they're the knots that are prayers. And they're all equally important. And she uses them in very specific ways, which you'll only learn when you do it.
It's interesting because this reminds me of a guest we had on our show who talked about the fairy world. Remember this one, PK?
Oh, yes.
And he was talking about how in ancient days people would use twine and create knots as a way of communicating with the fairy world. And they did it with these pieces of twine because it was verboten. It was forbidden to do this. So if their houses were raided or whatever, the powers that be wouldn't even think that this twine with a knot in it had anything to do with anything. So it was a way of making this communication sacred, having it happen, but also keeping it safe from being taken away from them.
That's
it was
so fascinating.
And here it is again, and now we hear about it in
I was telling you on the break how my Egyptologist had discovered that he was watching me and realized what I was doing, and he was just blown away. He said, because in the villages in Egypt today, especially in rural Upper Egypt, they still use twine, and they make knots, and they make dolls, and they use them for everything from healing to revenge. It's really interesting, and it's been going on for thousands of years.
Amazing. It's quite a tradition now.
He'd never seen a Westerner who'd ever known anything about it.
Funny.
Yeah,
that's strange.
Here's another question for you from the chat room. Can you give us some insight, I'm not sure what this question is about, on whether we can see ourselves or our future selves in an afterlife?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because you're created. That's part of the work, is because you're so intimately involved in the process of your own digestion and regeneration, that you have some say in how you want to recreate yourself, whether it's in this life or in a future life or for your progeny in the future. But some of the most important work we can be doing right now is the ancestor work, is healing those frayed and broken lines that connects us with Source behind us and in front of us. And in my work, we do it in a journey to the cave of the ancestors, which is in the Planetary Healing book that I did with my husband, Mark Hallert. And it's also in a 7 CD set that I did with Sounds True called Becoming an Oracle, because it's in the oracular work and in the medicine of the oracular work that you learn to change the future and change the history.
So that's a very powerful connection that you make, again, with the ancestors. And we've heard this also before with Native and Indigenous people, that the calling upon the ancestors is very important. Now, did I hear you correctly that you also worked with Rolling Thunder, that was one of your teachers?
He was our doctor in the 60s in the Grateful Dead family.
Oh, okay.
So I met him. I was his driver once when we flew him in to deal with some pretty serious problems. And that was my first exposure to shamanic healing, was with Rolling Thunder, and it blew my mind.
He was an amazing man. I met him once when he came to Hartford, Connecticut, and they always said that there were thunderstorms 3 days before his arrival and 3 days afterwards, and that coyotes followed him. And sure enough, we looked outside the window. Here we were in some high-rise building in Hartford, and we looked outside, and there were coyotes on the sidewalk.
Oh, well, there might have been rattlesnakes if you were into that.
Oh, thank goodness I did not see the rattlesnakes.
But he taught me how to pray. He was the first person. I mean, I grew up Jewish, and I went to temple for 14 years and was confirmed, but I never really understood prayer until I spent those years with Rolling Thunder.
What a graceful life to have met these wonderful, wonderful healers. My goodness. And now you're bringing this back to the rest of us, for which we're very grateful. Again, everybody, I want to suggest your book,
Definitely.
Nicki Sekhmet. And also, please, again, tell everybody your website address.
It's Shamanic Journeys with an EYS.com. Shamanic Journeys or Nicki Scully or Alchemical Healing. They'll all get you to the same place.
That's great. Now, tell us, when you have led people to the doorway where they have met Sekhmet, do you have any particular stories that you can think of that are most profound, where a person was healed or changed or something spectacular happened that you could share with us?
There are just so many of them. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Okay.
It's life changing, and for everyone it's different. But just the story that comes to mind is really interesting. I have a son that's an atheist, and he's really dyed in the wool. I mean, he's very serious about his atheism. And he came with me to Egypt, actually on the same trip as Bruce Lipton. And I thought having that science would help him to break through that. But he finally confided in me many years later that he couldn't really talk about it because when he met Sekhmet, things happened that were impossible in his reality. So impossible that he had to deny their existence because it would have blown his world apart.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's the closest he could come to telling me what happened because he just couldn't go there. He wanted so much to hold his limited belief. He just couldn't do it.
Has he made any changes over the years?
Well, enough that he just told me that recently. He just told me that, and the trip happened many years ago.
Amazing.
So I think he's loosening, but I know that it had a really deep and abiding effect on him, and I know a number of people whose lives changed dramatically after meeting her, but I just can't. My hard drive's full. I'm 74 years old.
You're a youngster. Don't worry about it.
Yes, you're a baby. Don't worry about it. Now, here's another question. This will be our last question from the chat room for the night. This is from Starlight again, who is asking, did ancient Egyptians have the same concept of ghosts or UFO sightings like we do today? I always wonder if they explain those sightings as naturally occurring events.
I think that the ancient Egyptians were quite comfortable that we all came from stardust. I think they realized that the source of all knowledge and all life came from the stars. I don't think they saw them as UFOs. I think they saw them as individual beings or clusters of beings with intelligence that could be related to. But I don't see flying saucers in their stuff. The one place that looks like a flying saucer they make a big deal of, but if you really look at it closely, it was where something was erased and changed, and when you do that hieroglyphically, you have to take off the plaster, and when you put it back, it kind of looked like that. But I don't know everything. I just know what I know.
Which is quite a bit.
Yes.
And mostly I know what I don't know, which is the answer to that question.
Yes, exactly. Well, and I think the question is good because I would imagine that Egyptians, based on the things that I saw in the tombs and the Valley of the Kings, they had a natural understanding of the stars. They had a natural affinity for wisdom and other beings from other places. That it was all natural to them. I think that Starlight's right.
And for Ma'at, I mean, every child knew their reason for being. It was to serve Ma'at and maintain that balance and harmony in the world.
Yes, and that's what we're missing today. We need Ma'at with us.
And that's why it lasted so long. But it would get corrupted and lost, and then they'd have to go through the initiations and remember and get directly connected to Source once again. But that was, you know, those rituals were deep shamanic vision quests, and they're described in the Jeremy Nadler's translation of the Pyramid of Unas, which is the Book of the Dead, and what the pharaoh had to do to maintain that direct connection to Source in the stars.
So it's time for us to do this. We need to find the balance. We need to walk in both worlds. And again, Nicki Scully, thank you so much for a wonderful evening. So exciting. And again, the book is Sekhmet, Transformation in the Belly of the Goddess. You can get it on Amazon.com or on one of Nicki's websites.
My website.
And, we will have to have you back, Nicki, because we barely scratched the surface.
Well,
so,
I'd love to. I've had a wonderful time.
Well, we loved having you here. And again, thank you so much for introducing us to Sekhmet. And now next week, everybody, we'll be back again with another live, excellent show. Be sure to tune in. And until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Lowe's has you covered for all those projects on your summer to-do list and will even help you save. Update your old flooring with stylish new ceramic tile starting at just 49 cents. And give your home a whole new look inside and out with $10 to $40 off paint, exterior stains, and resurfacers via rebate. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Paint offer valid 6/21 through 6/28. Exclusions apply. Tile offer valid 6/21 through 7/5. Price based per square foot or per piece based on market. While supplies last, U.S. only.